what do you know about numbers 6, 8, and a word pig? Well, if you're not familiar with numerology and you'd like to learn a bit more about, the title of my book and numbers 6 and 8, as well as Jewish culture and Arabic culture too, then stay tuned. So, I would just give you a little bit of a background of how I encountered Arabic people. So, when visiting my sister, I would just hear that they take some space. They take a lot of space on the pavement, and I think once or maybe twice she started an argument with these girls, but I was just watching and being a little bit worried that she would overreact to the way people walked in the pavement, basically, or she would comment on the tram that they have big iPhones, and I'm like, well, they do, yeah, but it's fine. I mean, it didn't bother me anyhow. But when I lived in Holland and I had my phone hacked, then a lot of people all of a sudden started to walk behind me and they started to take photos of my diaries. So I had it twice, in a library and in a bar, people would just take photos of my diaries. Not just Arabic people, but a lot of people would do that. But when going 2 years later, probably 2 years later, when going to Jewish center in Poland, I was yet again followed by so many people like never in my life. Wow. Okay. But I had some neutral, I would say, encounters. Like, I was shopping in Holland for Aladdin trousers. I'll be talking to you more about Aladdin's later. So I wanted to buy those specific trousers, and there was an Arabic lady, just coming too fast on me, and I was like, okay, so I'm going from this container to other container to look for something else, some other trousers. And what was interesting is that when I was shown an outfit that I liked and I didn't want to buy it because it was really, really open over here, then I had a strong feeling of regret. And then I had this dialogue in my head, which was very unusual for me, where I tried to justify why I felt regret. I mean, I was wondering, why did I feel a regret when I shouldn't? Because I knew, although the colors were perfect, they fit me perfect, but that shape of that outfit was just too strong, and I'm like, I shouldn't feel like that. I don't understand it. I can afford this outfit, it's quite cheap. If I want it, I can have it, and I feel a regret, and I know I will never wear it. And then it's not the end of the mental process. I go even further, like maybe for a date, I should wear it. Maybe, you are a stripper. And I think to myself, yes, I was a stripper, but I didn't walk in underwear in the streets. And I never walked in a blouse like that, in an outfit like that. It was just, primer knowledge about me. So this dialogue was very unusual, and this is something that I'm gonna discuss with you later. It's part of energy work and hypnosis work. So that was interesting. And then at work in Holland, we had a couple, Arabic couple, who entered a photo shop, and they asked me where was the bathroom, and I showed them the bathroom right away, but then I was scolded in front of them that I shouldn't have done that, and very bad words were used towards them. And then again, it's in my mind, I have this idea and this sentence that, oh, no, you don't want to tell us goodbye because you have to go to the toilet and check if it's okay. The toilet was okay. There's no big deal, and the manager was a little bit immature, I would say, because yeah, that was my entire reception of the situation, of that situation. But this thought in my mind, like, well, what? Why? I wasn't rude to them. I showed them the toilet, and then I have a thought like that. So it didn't make any sense to me. And this is again part of energy work and hypnosis work, which I will elaborate in some later videos. Yeah, so I think these are just, a few short descriptions of how I avoided the conflict just on daily basis, in quite a few simple situations, not too many of them actually, right? But I also met a person who was also Arabic and who was a very, very nice person. And he was a lecturer. Just let me see. Okay. He was giving us a lecture, and it was a lecture about sale. And what I wanted to tell you about him is that later he found some time to meet us after the lecture, and we wanted to have some beer together as a group. And the place, he was Arabic, and the place called Singa was chosen, and that place is a Jewish place because Isaac Singer is a Jewish person. So and once we entered that place, I went to the bathroom, and my colleague Grzesiek also went to the bathroom, and the door was left slightly ajar. It wasn't closed, so I was picking my nose. And what's interesting about Grzesiek is that I saw him in a different job in Holland a few years later, and he talked to me about an incest, and that is also something I wrote a lot about. So what people talk to you about is not irrelevant. Listen carefully. So James, he told me, promised me you will never be sad. And I'm giving you these words because I was also discovering how words would impact me on daily basis, and how I was moved more by words than by anything else. And he later created a company that deals with cybersecurity, which was my headache for at least for 2 years when I had my phone hacked, and I was like, should I send the phone to analysis or shouldn't I? Because they tell me all the time, like, if you send it, we'll check it, we'll write the opinion, but we don't promise you that it's gonna show something even if it happened. So I was like, oh dear, where to go, what to do, and if it was worth it. Finally, I decided not to send it anywhere. So he was my very, very positive encounter, whom I really, really liked. Okay, so I have to switch to a different topic for now. Like, when working in Holland, I already told you in my very first video that one of my colleagues hit a woman. Let me see the time. Hit a woman with a car, a woman with a child on a zebra crossing, and we didn't know what would be, what was her condition, what was the child's condition, and he did that because he didn't see the sun. And my father was hit by a woman on the zebra crossing with the red light on, because he was killed because he didn't see the sign. So there's a lot of dialogue with the way my father died with me, because I wrote a lot about porn. I wrote a lot about red light street and the red lights themselves, how they are linked with the idea of waiting, switching the lights and crossing the street, and how the same happens when a woman as a sex worker, when she has clients, she you have to wait just like in the traffic lights. And there is this vocabulary that we say in Polish, jazda, to describe sex, and jazda to describe a drive when the lights change from red. Okay. I think therefore it's a lot of dialogue with me that he didn't see the sign. And then at work I said something like, if I knew how to help someone, I would help them, but I not always know how. What I meant here was the first aid kit. And then the way my father died was because the woman hit him on the zebra crossing, but he didn't receive the right help. Somebody was doing the heart massage on him for too long, and so they didn't know how to help him, but they wanted to help him. That's how it happened. And then my father was, when he was dying, he was basically, we didn't know if he would come out of it. If he would come out of it, he would be most probably paralyzed till the end of his life. And we didn't know how this would end. So once we arrived to the hospitals, the doctors told us that they would disconnect him from the machines. But we're also told that he would die, slowly, as he was. We wouldn't know what time and so on. But before that, we were also told that he wasn't breathing on his own. So my understanding is that he was just basically suffocating. And my father was hit by the car on the 26th of January at 6 o'clock. And then a little boy who was 6 years old had an accident because he fell off the door frame. So I linked the two sentences. He didn't see the sun and he didn't see the sign. And let me just see, I have 2 more minutes. I think I will show you more connections. I'll tell you more about number 6, number 8. I will tell you more about the pig and about Jewish people in the next video. And if you're curious about my book and you want to learn more about, well, about Jewish people, about Gypsy people, about Arabic people, about symbolism, then please drop me a line at lkinga788@gmail.com. And also I'm selling my course called Amelia. So if you're curious about my course, want to learn more about manipulation, mind games, and any psychological type abuse that's connected with physical abuse, sexual abuse of very young children who are just conditioned to give their consent, conditioned not to say a word, then you'll find the link to my course in the description of this video. You will find it on my website, and you will also find it on Instagram. So talk to you soon.